Speaking of competitions, how long do you think it would take me just starting to train for one?
Basically popped out of place and then popped back in.
Back in June, I put a Q&A on my Instagram story asking you guys what challenge I should do next. So let's see what some of you had to say. Of course, we had an ordering from Starbucks every day, a bodybuilding show, become a figure skater, playing ice hockey, vegetarian for a month, couples ballroom dancing, pottery, wood carving, drink nothing but tequila for 30 days. Girl. And then I came across Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and that one piqued my interest. But unlike dancing and race training, my two previous challenges, I have zero experience when it comes to fighting. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, often abbreviated as BJJ, is a martial art and combat sport that focuses on ground fighting and submission grappling. Originating in Japan and refined in Brazil by the Gracie family, it promotes the principle that a smaller, weaker person can effectively defend themselves against a bigger, stronger opponent. Practitioners aim to control their opponents through skillful positioning and apply joint locks or chokeholds to submit them, or in other words, get them to tap out. My curiosity was officially activated, so I reached out to a few different local gyms and managed to get a call set up with one of the owners.
Hey, Hallee.
Hey Gabe, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Someone replied to my story and was like, oh, you should go to Inside Control.
I thought it would be cool to do because you do like 30-day challenges or whatever, to do some period of training where you build up to do a tournament match.
I think that'd be really cool. He seemed super excited about the idea, and he also said he was looking to get the word out about his gym.
Now is actually the perfect time to come. I can tell you all about it, you know?
Seemed like the perfect fit. So I decided this was it. This was gonna be my next challenge. I'm doing a podcast interview with Gabe, the owner of Inside Control Academy, and he is going to tell us his story, and he's basically coaching me through this whole thing. So I'm excited to talk to him, get to know more about what he does, more about Inside Control Academy, and more about what to expect in this jiu-jitsu journey. Okay, so Gabe, welcome to the Passion Project. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Okay, so my name is Gabe Maldonado, and I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I've been training martial arts now for, close to 30 years now.
Towards the face.
We started as Gracie St. Pete in 2014, and then we rebranded to Inside Control about two and a half years ago now. Our phrase is truth through combat, right? Like exposing the truth of yourself, of the situation, of what you're doing through the medium of martial arts. We're learning how to gain leverage against each other, which is the essence of jiu-jitsu, but also the character development, self-discipline, self-mastery, and
No, what really struck me as interesting, as Gabe explained the ins and outs of jiu-jitsu to me, was the depth. How was it that a combat sport where you're hurting someone, essentially, how could that have anything to do with personal development? It could really change your life, allegedly. But I was still skeptical, and I was really stuck on the competitive aspect of it.
Sport jiu-jitsu gets kind of crazy. People will spin upside down, grab your shirt and bring it around your neck, all sorts of crazy stuff. It gets pretty complicated.
Speaking of competitions, do you think how long do you think it would take me just starting to train for one?
Okay, I would say somewhere between 60 to 90 days would be a realistic situation where you can go compete and feel good about what happened afterwards, whether you win or lose. 30 days might be a bit slim because you're not in the gym 2-3 times a day every day.
No more work, just in here all day for the next 30 days.
Disregard all other responsibilities.
Nothing else. Yes. Despite Gabe's warnings, I still thought that I could prove him wrong and be able to compete in the tournament on August 19th. Okay, something just dawned on me. What shoes do you wear to jiu-jitsu classes?
transfer right to the arm or my chest. Don't be afraid to call for help. Get it on 3, 1, 2, 3.
I learned from Gabe that there's actually 2 different types of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. There's gi, where you wear the traditional kimono, and no gi, where you don't. And as you can see, no gi is the style that I was going to be learning over the next 30 or more days. And so after the warm-up, we practiced a way to gain control of someone from standing, and then worked on a move to get somebody into a rear naked choke. I was definitely overly gentle and pretty awkward about getting that up and close and personal with strangers, but I came to realize that in jiu-jitsu, you kind of have to get used to that.
Remember, tournament coming up in August if anybody wants to do it.
It was so much fun. It felt like I was getting the hang of it, but then again, they weren't trying. You kind of think, like, how's it gonna be when the other person's actually fighting back against you as hard as they can? I know I'm pretty strong. No, I'm not being sarcastic. A few of my worries would be, just that once you start actually fighting, how hard is it actually gonna be? 2, injury. I did get to overcome my 4th fear, which was actually getting put into a submission. I couldn't talk after the first one. I was like, and then I tried to talk and I was like, and no words came out. The last thing I'm nervous about that I should mention is that I am pretty claustrophobic. I mentioned some of these fears to Gabe, and so we set up a one-on-one session to focus on learning some escapes in case I found myself in a position where I felt trapped.
I'm sure you may be familiar with this position, right? This is like the mount.
Okay, yeah.
This is kind of like an end game position for Mike, especially in a self-defense situation or like a real fight. In jiu-jitsu, it's also a super strong position because of the, it's almost like he has high ground for him.
Yeah.
So he can use his legs and his arms against only my upper body. So for me, what I want to do is not try to like buck and go crazy, because as I do that, I extend my limbs away and he gets to encroach further and further into better leverage.
Okay.
What I want to do is I want to get my leg down and flat on the mat and turn my hips. As I turn my hips, I'm turning my shoulders. And
Basically, what Gabe was teaching me here is a key defense in jiu-jitsu called a hip escape, which can be useful in both competitive styles of jiu-jitsu, which is what I'm learning, and in a self-defense situation.
Like with me, and now I'm in the dogfight position. And then we can start to use different avenues to sweep and get on top and change our position. Do you want to see that again, or do you feel like?
I mean, visually, you make it look easy.
Sure, for sure. It's like a language. At first, you just mimic.
So how do you go from, there's different levels, right, in jiu-jitsu?
The whole path to becoming a black belt, from white belt to black belt, you are essentially learning a language. And what I want you to do is like push into him a little bit, almost like you're trying to knock him over. First, you're mimicking. Release tension from your arm and whip it out. Good. And repeating, right? And so through your early white belt stages, the first couple of stripes of your white belt, you're learning words, you're learning sentences. And now from here, this arm is gonna go under the armpit and this arm is gonna go over. Within that first year, your job is to develop the ability to have a conversation, right? And so from white belt to blue belt, you have a grasp of jiu-jitsu where you can speak on the mat with. If somebody asks you a question, you have an answer, and you can pose questions and force people to give you answers.
You gotta feel the light going out.
From blue belt to purple belt, it's the ease of conversation. The transition from purple belt to brown belt, I believe, is a style and artistry, and then from brown belt to black belt, is that you're so good at conveying the language that you're able to create an emotional response in your partner, and typically the path takes 8 to 10 years for most people. Dude, that was awesome. Hey. You're gonna be good at this.
Having a baseline of knowledge and 2 classes under my belt gave me some confidence, but it was time to get into the training.
Last night, while I was trying to fall asleep, I was randomly having every worst case scenario thought I could possibly have. What if my arm gets snapped? What if someone breaks my neck on accident? My hips are so sore.
I'm honestly still so nervous for every single class.
5:58 a.m. and it's time for another jiu-jitsu class.
If I've learned anything from jiu-jitsu, it's that I bruise easily.
I had a little bit of a realization in class. The girl I was practicing the moves with, she's been doing it for a few months and she's good. So I asked her if she'd ever done a competition, and her response made me a little nervous. Am I being overconfident that I can actually compete and have a chance?
Went to my first leg locks class on Friday.
I haven't done a gym workout in a while. It's actually my last day in my apartment. Man, I don't know why it's so bad right now, but my spirits are not high after that class. I just couldn't get the moves down. I heard Gabe saying the one day, embrace the suck. You're just gonna suck for a while, so embracing it. It's being embraced. I'm not in the best mood, again. I hate losing. Another day, another feeling disappointed in myself. This is so mentally draining. I think that maybe I need to change my mindset. One of the things I would do early on that I think happens to a lot of people in jiu-jitsu is I would absolutely refuse to tap out unless I was literally on the verge of going unconscious or breaking a limb. But I slowly realized that this was hurting me physically. So here I'm rolling with Natalia, one of my go-to training partners who quickly became a friend. She helped me to realize that it really is okay to tap. And once I accepted this, I actually learned a lot from her in the classes. And so once I realized that and I started leaning on other people, leaning on my training partners, I was starting to get the hang of things. That is until I was forced to face yet another one of my fears.
My body decided to get hurt today. I rolled my ankle. And this is a previous injury. I've rolled this ankle so many times, but it basically popped out of place and then popped back in. But aside from that, I am feeling a lot more confident in my skills. Obviously, I think I'm at a point where I've accepted my fate. I've just accepted everything for what it is. And I can now enjoy it a little bit more. I'm starting to recognize moves, I'm starting to recognize patterns. I went in today's class really needing it. I moved yesterday and I was having an emotional breakdown this morning. So honestly, I was so excited to go to jiu-jitsu to kind of get my mind off of it and just kind of recenter myself. And it helped.
How does jiu-jitsu help someone?
I think that jiu-jitsu is unique in that it really has the ability to improve almost anyone's life. If you're a meek person, if you are inside of a shell and shy, it can help you come out of that. For somebody who maybe is a male and is too aggressive, he wears too much armor, the repetitive facing the truth of winning and losing, especially losing, tapping and admitting the truth that you beat me and still being submitting, the act of submitting over and over again helps to soften the ego and allows you to be more comfortable in vulnerable positions. I've seen it help parents bond with their children. I've seen it help just pretty much everybody. I haven't seen anybody that comes in the gym and left in a worse position than they were in before.
I submitted someone for my first time on Friday.
I was watching the footage from my first class, and that opened my eyes to how far I've already come.
So it's August 6th. My first jiu-jitsu class was on July 5th. So it's officially been 1 month. So today I texted some of the girls to come to an open mat. Gabe's gonna be here to coach us through some things and kind of see the progress I've made.
Where are we at with your stuff, right? So you feel like you can sweep a little bit, right?
Yeah, the only thing, I haven't really learned anything from standing.
So, okay, so you have De La Riva guard, you have inside De La Riva guard, reverse De La Riva guard, right?
Yeah.
You can play a little bit of butterfly guard, half guard,
Don't think I've done much half guard.
no half guard, closed guard.
A little bit of closed guard, yeah.
Okay, and then on top, you know how to knee cut pass?
Yeah.
Do you know how to double underhook pass?
Yeah, that's when, yeah.
Okay, when you get to side mount, can you mount or submit?
Side mount is when I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Mount.
Yeah, I know a couple. Arm bar and then, I don't
The
know.
Americana.
Yeah.
Okay, back. You can choke
Back.
from the back.
Yeah, I learned that one.
Okay, all right, let's focus on the side mount then.
So I had a pretty good foundation and knowledge base around the moves in jiu-jitsu, but the question was, did I have enough? Enough to compete in the upcoming August 19th tournament. I just got to the jiu-jitsu tournament. Mute. We got a little ahead of ourselves, so let's go back a week. So yesterday I texted Gabe to ask him if he'd recommend me competing in a tournament. He texted me back, so I'll read it to you guys. If you want to go there and compete, you go for it. But I would recommend you go and watch it with me first and give yourself more time so that you have a fighting chance. The people in your division could have like a year or two experience. Oh, yikes. Some of these girls are savages, and I'd hate for you to get hurt or just demolished and come away from it with a bad taste in your mouth. I've seen it before, and it's my professional opinion that you wait and learn more skills. I mean, I thought he might say that, but it also, my competitive side is like, okay, I think I finally found the jiu-jitsu. I'd be lying to you guys if I said I wasn't disappointed in myself to some degree. When I first set out on this journey to complete and document the process of these comfort zone challenges, I was very focused on the outcome. But what this experience has made me realize is it's more about the process, the journey. Jiu-jitsu as a sport takes time. You have to learn how to pick yourself up by celebrating the small wins. And sometimes the biggest accomplishment isn't a big flashy goal. Sometimes the biggest accomplishment are the internal fears that you overcome along the way. If I would have done this tournament, I would have had no one to compete against. However, this did make me want to compete in something once I have some more experience under my belt. No pun intended. Since we finished filming, Gabe has actually become one of my clients, and I'm currently coaching him to help him build his own social media presence. I'm accepting new clients right now, so I added a link to an interest form in the description with more information. If you like this video, hit subscribe and let me know what challenge I should do next.